Alrighty hosses, welcome back, and in this video I'm going to show you how to add a toggle button so your menu doesn't look horrible on mobile devices. So just right now, looking at it on a desktop or a laptop, the menu looks pretty sweet, but if you were to look at this on a phone, this is what it would look like. The menu would take up a third of the entire screen, and let's say that you had 8 items, well then you have to scroll way down before you see any part of the web page. So I'm going to show you guys how to add a button just like this, where you can click it and it can either collapse or expand your menu. So make this big again, hop back in our code and check it out. Now I reverted back to, I think it was tutorial number 6, 2 tutorials ago. In other words, I took out all the extra stuff like the drop down menu and the right align logout button. So this is just a really simple menu. I just wanted to use this as a starting point. But essentially, what we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, here are the main menu items. Again, this is just the logo. Now, we're going to add functionality to say, whenever we click this button that we're going to be making in just a second, hide this section right here. And whenever we click it again, expand it. So we're essentially just going to be expanding and collapsing this. Now, in order to do that, we need to change the div slightly. The first thing we need to do is for the class, we need to give it collapse, so it's able to be collapsed in Navbar collapse. Now, another thing we want to do is this just gives it the functionality to be expanded and collapsed. We want to give it an ID so we can actually say, okay, this button is trying to collapse this, essentially just so we can target it. So main nav bar. So whenever we click the button, we're going to say collapse. What do you want to collapse? Main nav bar. And you put your button right inside the nav bar header above your nav bar brand, your logo, whatever you want to call it. And of course, it's a button, and it has 4 different attributes that we have to make. The first one is the type, and this is just button. Yes, this button is a button. The second one is the class, and this is navbar toggle. Now the third one is data toggle. Are you popping up? Nope. Data toggle, and this is collapse. And the last one is data target. So you know that this button is trying to collapse something. Let me type this so I don't get confused. Alright, so okay, this button is going to collapse something. What are you trying to target? Well, we are trying to target this div right here. So hashtag for the ID and main navbar, or whatever the ID of your div is. Now, inside your button, we need to say, okay, what icon or text do you want to go on here? So what people usually do is, if I pull this up, you see that these toggle buttons, some people call these the hamburger icons, where they're just like 3 lines. And these are just, I don't know, it's kind of like the universal symbol for them. But for some reason, Bootstrap thought it would be funny to, not include the ability to have that icon easily, so you have to make it in kind of a weird way, and I'll show you how. So we have to make each line individually. Kind of weird, but, that's what we got to do. And this is icon bar. So this is going to give us the top bun. This is going to give us the bottom, or excuse me, the meat, and this is going to give us the bottom bun. So this is just the design of the button. This is the overall button and the functionality, and whenever we click it, it's going to target this right there. So now if I run it, everything looks normal by default, but whenever we shrink it on a mobile device, look at that, we now get our button. So we can click it, expand it, click it again, and collapse it, and now our menu doesn't take up the entire screen. And just to show you guys what I was talking about, say that we removed one of these. You see how this button looks normal right now? Let me refresh it. We only have 2 lines on it. So I don't know why they just didn't make an easier way of doing this, but hey, I'm not making Bootstrap, I'm just teaching it. So there you go. Hopefully you guys understand how to make navigation bars and toggle buttons, and yeah, pretty simple. See you next video.